What's going on, my YouTube people? How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing great. Oh boy, guys. I just really don't know exactly what to say. This is going to be like a live video. Don't want to be too long, but I'm going to be long because this is just one of those little bit more in depth videos. And again, guys, this is going to be kind of like raw and uncut because uh again, just like a live video, I haven't even watched or seen this movie yet, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So it's going to be pretty much a raw reaction. And yeah, I did go through a few scenes here and there just to kind of see what the TVs look like, but I have not actually sat and watched the movie with sound on or anything. Literally just skipping through different scenes just to kind of see what each individual TV looks like with this movie just for fun. So this is going to be literally like my first reaction. We're just going to find random scenes, we're going to get to them, and we're going to react off of them. All right, guys. um but man, I want to just kind of talk to you guys really quick about something. And this is going to be a little bit more on a personal level. Recently, you guys have really been showing me a lot of love. And I just want to tell you guys that I don't think you guys understand. Like, it might be something that's small to you, but it is big to me. All right. A big deal. Every single one of us has everyday stress. Our lives are hectic. We're all going through a lot. None of us know what we are all going through on a personal level, but we all know what we're going through. All right, because we all deal with the same kind of stress. And for you guys to take the time out of your busy lives and comment and watch my videos and interact with me and actually just, you know, send me your kind words through the comments and uh, have these conversations. And you guys thank me all the time, but let me just tell you guys, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys. I know you probably hear that all the time, but you guys are literally my therapy. So just want to let you guys know. Um, but long story short, you guys are the best. Thank you so much. We're gonna get right into this, man. We're gonna get right into this because I'm trying to really cut as much time as we can. So let's get right into it. We have an amazing comparison here with some of the best TVs in the freaking world, guys. We have all the way to the left, the reigning champ, TV of the year 2023, and still a top contender. We have the 77-inch Sony A95L. In the middle, we have the all-new 2024 model 77-inch Sony, or I'm sorry, LG G4. And on the right, we have another amazing TV, 77-inch LG G3. We're going to do a side-by-side comparison with movies, 4K HDR. And I'm going to go through my settings. But before I do that, let me just let you guys know quickly, the G4 is a force to be reckoned with, guys. Now, that doesn't mean to say that the G3 or any other TV from 2023 or any other TV is, you know, garbage, because they're not. Guys, we're really talking about top level TVs here all across the board. So I don't want anyone to think that because you own a G3, you missed out on a G4 or any other TV that you may have been considering or whatever the case is, because It's truly not the case. But what I will say is that when it comes to the G4, guys, oh my God, it's basically everything you wished for in a WOLED from LG. I mean, it is all around, checks all the boxes. It's refined. The A11 processor is noticeably better. And, you know, it's just one of those things where what else can you possibly ask for, you know? So I'm going to show you really quick what my settings are. They will change from time to, we will go through different picture settings and things like, excuse me, things like that. I have the hiccups. Um, but here we go. So we're going to go ahead, picture pro or picture, and we're going to go to picture settings. As you can see, we are in standard. That's where we're going to start off. We're going to go to brightness. Let's click on that. We're going to go down so I can show you gradation preferred is with tone, is HDR tone mapping is on gradation preferred. Black levels, of course, are dead center in the middle at 50. Color, I usually keep my color between 55 and 60. Sometimes I bring it up, especially in movies like this with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Um, but yeah, I usually even sometimes bring it up to about 65 with a QD OLED. That's just my personal preference, guys. Live color is off. As you can see, color temperature is on warm. I, I am not a fan of professional mode, guys. Believe me when I tell you, I tried, and I just, the fact that when I put it in that color temperature and had to change a million different settings just to get it to where I like it, I'd rather just skip all that, put it in warm, and then fine tune from there. Especially when I'm gaming, I have a whole different setup that looks a little bit different for color. We're going to go to clarity. And as you guys can see, reality creation is off. I want to just show you guys what these TVs can natively do with their own native processing. And then sharpness is on 4. I know a lot of people say bring that sharpness up to make it look better. I feel like sometimes it looks a little too artificial. Some people say put it to 15, put it to 20. I just think that's a little too much, personally. All right, guys. Oh, let me just see where I'm at as far as gradation goes. Sorry. Here. I thought I had it. Yeah, I do have it on low. All right. So there we go. All right. All right, guys. Now, these two remotes are the same, so I don't know. All right, so I guess I'm going to the G3. All right, so the G3, again, we are on standard mode. We are going to go to advanced settings, brightness. As you guys can see, we're all the way up for both contrast. And I know a lot of people say you can bring that contrast down to 80. I'm just not a fan. I'm sorry. You know, I'm not going to be the purest type of person, and I'm not going to be that lowering the contrast type of person. Just not me. As you can see, dynamic tone mapping is off. Expression enhancer is off. Peak brightness is on high. All right. Color is at 66. I normally keep it anywhere between 55 to even 69, depending on what I'm watching with the G3. Color gamut. There you go. We are on dynamic. White balance. We are at warm 50. All right. And let's go to clarity, and you will see sharpness is on 4 and smooth gradation is on low. All right. I do have it on cinematic motion, but I'm not really going to be talking about motion anyways in this video. We're going to go ahead and go to the glorious G4 here. We have standard as your HDR picture mode. We're going to go to advanced. We're going to go to brightness. As you guys can see, we're all the way up for both contrast and brightness, just like the G3. Black level dead center at 50. I do mess around with black level a lot when I'm gaming in the gaming optimizer, because it really does depend on what I'm playing. And you can fine tune the G3 in game mode so particular. It's just ridiculous in such a good way. Dynamic tone mapping off, expression enhancer off. We're gonna go down to clarity. You can see sharpness is on 4. All right. So I'm trying to make the TVs as native as possible, but with certain tweaks that I personally like. Anyways, guys, we're gonna go ahead and hit play. Before I do that, I know, long story short, what people ask primarily is right now is the G4. Like, what I think about it. And let me just, long story short, I feel that the G4, what they have done is taken that new processor that they have, the A11 processor, and made some refinements over the G3, just cleaning a lot of processing up. And it's kind of like a hybrid of LG's signature look. I don't know, most of you might obviously be familiar with that. And Sony's XR processing look, the Sony's look. It's like they kind of blended the two together and made their own thing. And it's very Sony-like, but at the same time, it's like it's very LG. You know what I mean? So it's hard to explain, but that's just kind of the the thought that automatically comes in mind for myself when it comes to the G4. So I really like the TV. It's just a pleasant surprise. It is a great experience, and you know, we're gonna go ahead and hit play. All right, guys. Um, Let me just one thing that I did notice with the G4, and I'll show you guys. Um, and by the way, just to let you guys know, we're gonna run this comparison strictly in HDR10. All right, um, we're not gonna do Dolby Vision today. All right, guys. Let's do. I just wanna. Here we go. All right. So I think I'm gonna probably have to do a close up on this one. All right. Because what I want to show you guys really quick. Actually, you know what? Let me bring this back just a tad bit. Here we go. All right, let's stop it right here. All right, guys. I'm going to have to take the camera and just show you guys something. So, right up front, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to the LG G4. Now, we all know that LG is known for that 3D effect. I just feel like LG has literally brought that to a higher level than ever before. All right, guys, I don't even have dynamic tone mapping on, as you guys can see, and it's just doing a terrific, unbelievable job in how good the processing can natively make an image look without even any enhancements. Oh, and by the way, speaking of that, I'm going to show you guys. Go to the settings. We're gonna go, I think it's under general. And as you guys can see, AI Picture Pro is off. All right, not getting any assistance from the G4, and I'm also not getting any assistance to enhance the picture in the G3. I just want to show you guys so you guys know. As you can see, it's also off. All right. So, and we're going to keep AI Picture Pro off. I haven't really done anything with that yet. But anyways, here we go. So, fine details is where it's at with the G4. All right, guys. And we're going to run an example really quick. We have the G3. And I want you guys to kind of just set your eyes in this section here, right? So what I mean by fine details is all those imperfections within the rocks and everything kind of look a little bit softer. And it still looks good, guys. But then we go to the G4. And as you can see, it just has a little bit more clarity, right? It has a little bit more fine detail to it. And it has more of that 3D depth and perception to it, all right? And then we're going to go to the A95L. And guess what, guys? Again, I don't have reality creation on. I don't have any enhanced settings. But as you can tell, look, right in front of you. Look. Look how close the fine details are now to Sony. Look at that. Now, and let's go back to the G3. All right. So, I don't know if my camera can actually bring that out, but I can clearly see more detail in the G4 than I can over the G3, and it's very, very close and similar to the Sony. All right. And now, if you look at the colors, look, guys, look how nice the yellow looks now compared to the G4 or compared to the G3. There has been color improvements as well, as you guys can clearly see. Obviously, I do still think that it is not quite there yet versus the A95L, but guys, who's going to really complain about that versus that? Right? I mean, look at that, guys. It's just crazy. So they all look good, guys. And I don't want you guys to feel discouraged about owning a G3 because, guys, if I'm insulting you owning a G3, I'm insulting myself. I mean, look. You know what I mean? So I have a G3, so I don't want to go back and forth with everybody saying, oh, I'm a fanboy here, I'm a fan. No, I own these TVs. They're my own personal investment. And I use them every day, every single day. I use my TVs, all right? So I don't like when people say things like that because it's just simply and obviously not true. All right. So, yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that really quick before we even get into it. But anyways, let's go ahead and hit play. Let's see if I can find something. With more color. Let's see. Oh, I want to go back actually. All right, this is a good example here. All right, so perfect example here, guys. I will flip around, but again, remember, we have tone mapping off. We have gradation preferred on for the Sony A95L. And again, dynamic tone mapping off for both the G3 and the G4. And look, guys, look at how nice they compete with each other. The brightest of the three is right there, dead center in the middle, while at the same time maintaining, to me, and I'm hoping that you guys can see it on your end, the best color All right, guys. Now, don't get me wrong. We're splitting hairs here, guys. You got to remember, we're really talking about some of the best TVs in the entire world. All right, guys. We're not talking basics. We're not, we're talking about the world. All right. So they're gonna be close no matter which way you slice and dice it. But what I will give the G4 is that not only has it gotten brighter, but it's improved its color. And this is a good scene to basically show you that. All right. Um, and again, they're going to trade blows, but that's a good example right there. All right. Now let's go to another scene. I don't know. Let's check out. Um, I don't know. Let's keep going. Maybe. Has anybody seen this movie yet? Because I haven't. And I can't wait to actually sit down and watch it. I don't care what anybody says. She's hot. All right, here you go. So, um, I'm gonna switch it probably to filmmaker mode in this one. Again, even though I'm not personally a fan, I just feel like it makes the image look pretty bad. But let me try to bring down. Sorry, guys, a little bit. All right, so now, again, guys, I wanted to talk about basically some specular highlights here. Now, it's kind of tough because when you turn dynamic tone mapping on, you're going to see that it kind of blows out the picture. And I just feel like although LG has improved their dynamic tone mapping while basically not washing out the colors as much as they used to anymore when dynamic tone mapping is on, I do feel like they still should probably refine it a little bit more where you're not blowing out details in specular highlights and things like that. But anyways, right now, I just want to show you guys that the QD OLEDs, Sony is not necessarily, separating themselves completely from not even the G3 in this situation. Colors are very close, as you can tell, but let's just look at those little light beams. Let's just look at the left one, the red one on the left, right? And now if you look really close, you can kind of tell that the G4 still looks the sharpest out of the G3 and the A95L. The A95L is still doing better with the color, but as far as sharpness goes, the G4 is doing its thing right now. And that's just kind of how I'm interpreting it. Sorry, I'm just lost. But that's basically how I'm seeing it right now. All right, now, let's go ahead, just change it really quick, and let's turn dynamic tone mapping on with the G3. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to brightness. All right, let's turn that bad boy on. And you see, kind of blows out but does make the highlights, does make the picture brighter, but kind of blows out details. Let's see what dynamic tone mapping does. All right, and let's turn that on. All right. So again, we are in standard mode, or standard picture preset, right? And now we're gonna go to brightness and brightness preferred for tone mapping. All right, guys. All right. So, as you can tell, that's my personal issue with dynamic tone mapping, especially because I like watching movies in standard mode and then fine tuning the colors. I didn't really get a chance to fine tune the TVs yet for this comparison. I didn't really have. This is more of an out the box look, okay? But nonetheless, regardless, even when you fine tune your TVs with LG, I just feel like I just wish there was a little bit more refinement like Sony has done, where yes, Sony has a better tone mapping in my personal opinion, only because they have a better way of still maintaining like better specular highlights, um, you know, without blowing out the picture or losing any details within those highlights. So it could be because the G4 is brighter, but you guys, naturally brighter in those specular highlights at smaller windows. But again, I don't know. Now let's change it to, let's say, Cinema Home. As you can see, it blows it out even more. Let's go to Cinema, and let's go to Filmmaker mode. All right. Now we're going to go to Filmmaker mode here. And then we're going to go to, I believe, Cinema would be the best equal comparison. Or is it not IMAX, but let's go to Cinema. All right. And there you go, guys. What do you guys think? Let me go ahead and... All right. So that's what we're looking at right now. Filmmaker mode with dynamic tone mapping on and brightness preferred on for tone mapping. Now, if you, let's say, turn dynamic tone mapping off in Filmmaker mode, you will see for yourself oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. Oh, okay. So it doesn't, I guess it switches off in Filmmaker mode on its own. So let's see with LGs. I keep forgetting about that. And we're going to go to brightness. And that's off as well. All right. So that's good. So I guess it doesn't make much of a difference. I mean, it does slightly. But that's on, and then you just saw off. And now let's go and see if Filmmaker mode changed tone mapping on the A95L. For some reason, I don't think it does with Sony. And again, guys, this is kind of like a live without it actually being live. So I'm sorry, kind of just going through as I go along. Let's go to brightness. And as you guys can see, HDR tone mapping is actually off. And let's go to brightness preferred. And there you go. So that's Filmmaker mode with tone mapping on and Filmmaker mode with brightness preferred with the A95L. So again, you guys can take it as you want, but that's what it looks like. It's coming through quite similarly through the camera as it is in person with this particular scene here. So, all right, let's go ahead, flip through a different. And I told you guys this is going to be a little bit of a video here. All right, so now let's try to find, let's see. Maybe, here we go. This is a really good scene right here. All right. Now, I like this scene because it just shows you how nice the highlights look with the G4. It's probably going to come out pretty similar looking with the G3, but I can clearly tell in person that it is brighter, and you have details, again, just look a little bit more clean with the G4. The A95L, guys, looks amazing. You know, it's maintaining rich color as well. So, you know, again, that's kind of just how I like to really produce color on my TVs, and I really rather keep it on standard personally. Um, Everyone's different. Not that big of a fan of filmmaker mode. Right here. Let's go back to brightness in advanced settings. And let's turn off dynamic tone mapping, where I just feel like it kind of maintains the details better, which I'm more of a fan of. Let's go again to brightness under advanced settings for the G3. Oh, sorry, there you go. And we're going to go to standard. Oh, and brightness. Gradation preferred. Or just off. All right, let's just go off. All right, guys, so now a little bit more on equal playing field. And there you go. Now color is closer to a QD OLED. Again, that's just what they look like more natively. If there was a color booster or some kind of live color feature that the G4 can produce, I would probably, you know, do those comparisons with live color of the A95L, but they just don't have anything like that. They do have things like expression enhancer, but I just feel like it doesn't really do anything, and I feel like AI picture would probably do something with color, but it will always constantly change in real time, so I don't want to do that. But for color purposes, let's go down to color on the A95L. Let's just see what live color does, even on low. All right, so you can see it does a little something right there where it kind of makes the color look a little bit more rich. And these are the things that obviously LG does not implement into their settings. So I just kind of wish they did. And then I think, especially now with the new processor, if they did something like that, man, what else could you ask for? But again, got to give credit when credit is due, man. And the Sony A95L is just kind of pretty much killing it right now. So that's pretty much how I see it. All right. We're gonna go ahead and Let's skip a little bit more. Let's skip to like something that maybe, I don't know, let's say has more. Oh, actually, I wanted to go back. I went way too far. There was, I think, somewhere in here, if I remember correctly, there's a nice scene that had a lot. Oh, yeah, here we go. That had a lot of red. All right. Here we go. This is a good scene right here, guys. So, whew, man. All right, guys. Reds have deeply improved with the G4. Um, they've gotten brighter. They've gotten a little bit less orange looking. Um, and they've gotten brighter. So, as you guys can clearly tell, they look very, very close, but the G4 looks closer to a QD OLED than the G3 looks closer to the QD OLED. That's basically what I wanted to show right there. So the color red is, a, to me, like one of those more important colors when you're watching movies and things like that, because just we're just kind of naturally attracted to that color. And this particular example here, I thought would be nice to show you guys what the reds look like. So, um, specular highlights look really good with the G4. All the TVs, the G3, they all look very similar, and you're gonna notice a lot of these things just look very, very similar, guys. Um, you probably wouldn't even be able to tell the difference, but if you look in the background, right, where on the right side of the background, that area there where the highlights are, that kind of like blue lit up area, that is where I noticed the biggest difference. And that little light on the top right, uh, basically, going horizontal of the scene on the right, on the top, that bar of light is obviously the brightest with the G4 as well as the background area where you see a lot of that blue on the right too. So that's what I mean, is that the G4 can get bright, and brighter. All right, so let's excuse me. When you talk a lot, you get like, your throat gets a little dry. Um, let's see. Let's skip a little more. And there was something that I just saw. All right, here. Maybe here. Here we go. All right, guys. So another perfect example here with the color green. I mean, you guys can clearly tell that they're very, very close. Um, I do think that the G3, because it does not get as bright, can manage to maintain certain colors better. Green is one of them. I just like the deeper green. Yes, you can make the G4 look like that, um, by toning it down a little bit, but this is just a good example, guys, of what, they are very, very similar. All right. Now, let's go ahead and try to skip maybe something different. Here we go. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and let's switch the different picture modes here. We're going to go to filmmaker mode. We're going to go to filmmaker mode. And we're also going to go to cinema. All right. What do you guys think? All right, guys. So now, as you guys can tell through the camera, his armor looks probably the most rich with the A95L. So these are things that, you know, you have to kind of take note of. But the skin tones look better, even though they still look a little rough because I haven't really tuned it. But the skin tones look natural, more natural with the G3 and the G4. Um, so this is a perfect example of how these TVs can trade blows. All right, guys. Of course, you obviously can change the color, and I do think that the camera is exaggerating the skin tone a little bit too much on the A95L, just for full disclosure. But it still does look more natural in person with both the G3 and the G4. As a matter of fact, I would probably argue that the G3 actually looks the best in this particular scene here. All right, so let's go ahead and skip. Let's see if we can find, I don't know. Let's see. Oh. What's this look like here? These scenes look cool. What was that scene? That was back a little bit. Here we go. This is a good scene. All right, so explosions, guys. Man, now I'm gonna just say that the QD OLED definitely has the explosions and the fires down the best. But let's switch it. Let's switch it to standard. And let's switch it to standard. And let's switch it back to standard on the A95L. All right, guys. So this is where things change a little bit. Man, you know, they're so close to G4 and the G3. It's just hard to say, but I do definitely see more details in the G4 within the fire. The highlights look better, brighter, and that could sometimes, you know, be one of those things where you would prefer the deeper or, you know, deeper color of the fact that it's not as bright with the G3. You could probably, you know, argue that you think that looks better, but I would say in person, you definitely see more details. I should probably do a close-up of this actually, and that's what I'm going to do. Maybe you guys can see what I'm seeing better. So I'm going to bring this up. All right. Here's the G3, right? If you kind of just try to get closer to it. And then here is the G4. You see how there's just more fine detail in there? We'll go back. You see how, like, even this small section here, there's just not as much detail. So it's easier to see in person. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and go to the A95L. And there you go. All right, guys. So that's just basically what I'm going to show you. I'm pretty much going to end this video because I do have to get going. But with that being said, all right, to basically kind of summarize it, what I really like about the G4 is that it has those refined improvements that you kind of noticed against a QD OLED more than you noticed it against a G3. Like color, fine details, you know, things like that. So that's what this is a good scene right here. So that's what I've primarily noticed with the G4. I do notice it more so in gaming than in movies. Like, you know, especially with physical disc. I just think with a physical disc, um, the physical disc will have its own embedded metadata that can really only bring your picture so far, and then the processing can do what it does, but again, is kind of really relying on the metadata from the disk that it provides. And but let's say with like gaming, you can see more of a difference of improvement with gaming, I would think, in the G4 versus the G3. I think that's where LG put a lot of their concentration on, where you can see a difference, especially in brightness and color. Um, but overall, the G4 has gotten brighter. Processing has definitely improved. Now, should you go and run and give your G3 up and get the G4? Probably not. Is the G4 better than the A95L overall? Again, I'm not really haven't really decided if that's my new favorite TV yet. I just, you know, I just can't just jump ship so quick. But it is very, very close, guys. That's all I got to say about that. So, to the point where they look like each other almost exactly. So, um, I do think that LG has proven that it doesn't take a QD OLED to look better than what they can do. And I also think that that was LG's statement within the G4 and the creation of the A11 processor and the G4. That's my overall thought. We're gonna see what you know, other professionals will say about it. Obviously, I'm not a professional. I'm just kind of showing you guys what I see from my perspective, and that's it. So I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Please, guys, let me know in the comments what you think. I told you this was going to be kind of a long video. I hope that you guys somewhat enjoyed it and got something out of it. But again, guys, I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. Love you all, and take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.